Dojuku, Dojuku, Dojuku. Listen, your late husband gave me the papers to this house. Get out of this house right now.
You will never take my house. The way you sent me out of this world is the way you will go.
I couldn't sleep. Tina's words kept ringing in my head like a stubborn drumbeat. Toyin, are you really content with this small money? I was too greedy to stop. So proud to admit I had limits. Tina gave me the man's contact. 4 days later, I left Nigeria. I traveled straight to India, and truly, he was who she said he was. When I got to India, I didn't waste time. I went straight to the address Tina sent me. The place looked like something out of a horror movie. Dark, quiet, and smelling of strange smoke. The man, Babaraj, they called him, was already waiting for me. He didn't ask me questions. He just looked at me like he knew me before. Then he said, I know why you were here. You want power, but you must build an altar in your house. Not just any altar. Build it with this. He gave me something wrapped in a red cloth. I didn't even open it. I just nodded and thanked him. That night, I did not sleep, but I smiled because I knew I was coming back different. When I came back to Lagos, I came back stronger. When I landed, the first thing I did was relocating from Mushin to Lekki, an apartment I rented before traveling, a big 4-bedroom flat. The compound had tall gates and the air smelled richer. No more leaking roofs and noisy neighbors. No more people knocking on my door for help. For the first time in my life, I felt like a queen. I wasn't Toyin anymore. I became Mama T. I carried power in my bag and wickedness in my heart. I did not tell anyone what I brought from India, not even my friend Tina. But the moment I stepped into my room, I built that altar with the thing Babaraj gave me. I lit the candles, I said the chants, and from that day, my rise was no longer ordinary. 2 weeks later, I started my own money lending business. I got the bigger shop, painted in black and gold. I even hired staff, young boys and girls, all working under me. My banner reads, Mama T Financial Solutions. People came like ants to sugar. Men in suits, women in wrappers, they all needed money. And I gave them, but not for free. If you wanted money from me, you must drop something as a collateral. Your land, your car, or your child. I had a deal with Tina. She owned a business, a dirty one. Young girls would sell their bodies to make money for her, not for themselves. So if you left your child with me as collateral, I sent them to Tina. Nobody who borrowed money from me ever paid back. Not because they didn't want to, but because they could not. The altar I built, it made sure of that. It locked their blessings and buried their peace. The more money I made, the more wicked I became. I still remember one widow. She borrowed money from me just to pay a child's hospital bill. 2 weeks later, I came to collect her house. She knelt down, she cried. She begged me like I was a god. Mama T, please, I will pay. Don't take our home. And I told her straight, should I pity you or the contract you signed? I called my boys and threw our things outside. A child stood there, coughing and crying. I did not care. My name spread across the market. Even Mama Terry started greeting me with respect. People called me Iya Bako behind my back, meaning the crazy woman. Children crossed to the other side of the road when they saw me coming. I bought lands. I bought people. I bought silence. One man gave me his wife's sewing machine. Another gave me the title to his father's land. I once took a man's only child and sent her straight to Tina. When he came back to Berg, I told him, "You owe me. Your tears don't pay debts." There was a night I sat in my room alone. The altar was burning red. My hands were full of gold chains and money. I laughed, not because I was happy, but because I had finally become untouchable. Or so I thought. I was doing evil without thinking twice. I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel scared. At this point, I had already turned 40. No husband, no child, no friend I truly trusted, except Tina. But I did not care. I had something better than marriage: power, wealth, control. At night, my house turned into a trap. I started sleeping with boys in their 20s. Handsome, lazy, greedy boys. They called me sugar mommy. But to me, they were seed for sacrifice. They thought they were coming for enjoyment. But every one of them lost something the moment they crossed my gate. Each time I slept with one, I would go into my red-lit bathroom, close the door behind me, and perform the ritual. I used the white handkerchief to collect their release. Then I walked to my altar quietly, respectfully. I would drop it in the spiritual bowl beside a black calabash and say, "Strength from flesh, wealth from ruin, let his glory become my gain." That was it. The altar would ease softly, as if confirming. And from that night, that boy's life would slowly collapse. At first, they thought it was just bad luck. Some lost their jobs. Some fell sick. Some lost their minds. Kunle, one of them, came back crying. "Mama T, I did dream say snake dey pursue me. My life don scatter." "Homicide," I said, smiling. "Let it make you feel better." I drained him again. I drained him again. And the next time I saw him, he was begging on the street with torn clothes. Young people of this generation, they don't want to hustle. They don't want to wait. They want quick cash, iPhones, and clubbing. So I gave them money, but in exchange for something they didn't even value: their future. Every Friday, Tina and I painted the town red. From Lekki to VI to Ikeja, we were there. We wore the best clothes, entered VIP lounge, danced with politicians, drank champagne, and watched the world bow. Tina would always say, "We own this Lagos now." And I believed her. But underneath the wigs and lace and laughter, we were dripping in other people's pains. I didn't just want money anymore. I wanted legacy, power that would shake Lagos. So I upgraded my altar. I built a secret room behind my bedroom, soundproof, dark, filled with incense. Inside the room was a box. In that box were names, photos, blood, hair, and personal items from the boys. Each item gave me one more year of prosperity. So I kept collecting, and business kept booming. I had shops in Ikeja, Surulere, and Ibadan. Even politicians started borrowing from me. Pastors invited me to church to share testimony. One even called me a kingdom financial pillar. If only he knew where the money came from. One day, after a party, Tina looked at me and said, "Tony, this thing wey we dey do, you know the fear." "Fear?" I answered. "I buried fear the day I buried my conscience." She kept quiet, but I could see it in her eyes. She was beginning to shake. But me, I was just getting stronger. I was tired of using boys. They were now too cheap and too weak. I wanted men, big men, men with offices, staff, fame and public respect, men who drove black jeeps with escorts. So I changed my strategy. I started attending private political events, fundraisers, and high-level dinners. I wore a long gown, applied makeup, and smiled like an angel. And soon, they came to me. At a private Ikoyi event, I saw him, Chief Fajubi. He owned a real estate company and was eyeing a senatorial seat. He came to me for a 50 million naira loan. I gave him 70 million instead. He asked no questions. No documents were signed. He smiled like he had won, but I had already written his name and tied his picture to a red rope in my altar. My house was big, but lonely. No laughter, no children, no husband. Only the altar and the soft sound of money alerts on my phone. Every day, another person fell. Every night, I became richer. But peace was long gone. One night, while lighting a candle on my altar, I heard a voice, not loud, not harsh, just a whisper. "You will not stop, but neither will I." I froze. Was it the altar, or was it madness? I brushed it off, because by now, I was too deep to turn back. I had crossed many lines, done things even the devil himself would fear. I no longer saw human beings as people. I saw them as tools, destinies to use and dump. One Monday morning, as I sat in my plush office, sipping red wine, the air conditioner humming like a lullaby, a man walked in. "Good morning, ma," he said. "My name is Mr. Tochukwu. I need a loan of 10 million naira to clear my goods from China." I looked at him from head to toe. Clean shirt, gentle eyes, and a bit of pride in his voice. I laughed inside my heart. Another one, falling into my trap. As always, I told him to bring a collateral. He dropped papers for his 3-bedroom flat, the same house where he lived with his wife and 3 children. I gave him a contract, and he signed. I smiled. "Congratulations, sir. You will get the alert before 4 p.m. By nightfall, I had already taken his name to my altar. For 7 nights, I chanted his name. Tochukwu, Tochukwu, Tochukwu. Let your hands be weak. Let your helpers run away. Let your paths be blocked." And just like magic, his business started shaking. Clearing agents began frustrating him. The goods from China got delayed. The container got seized. 1 week passed, then 2, then 3, no payment. I went to his shop one morning. He looked tired, like a man wrestling with a demon. I smiled. Mr. Tochukwu, it's time to release the house. He coughed and said, Ma, please give me 2 more weeks. I will pay you back. He was stubborn, and his stubbornness annoyed me. I returned to my altar. I poured blood. I poured oil. I chanted his name and asked the spirit to make his life more miserable. But something strange happened. The more I attacked him spiritually, the more he fought back. One time, I saw him walking into a church with his wife. I began to feel uneasy. My powers weren't working the way they used to. One sunny day, he barged into my shop. I was shocked. He pointed at me. You are the one behind my suffering. You are the one making it hard for me to repay. But I will not give up. I will not lose my house. I flared up. I dialed 911. Police! Police! There is a man here. I need you to arrest him. He's threatening me and he owes me 10 million. He was dragged to the station. I made sure he was locked up. But his spirit still didn't break. At the station, he signed a paper. 1 month to repay or he goes back to jail. I thought it was over. But 2 weeks later, he returned with 1 million and said, Take, I will bring the rest in 2 weeks. I boiled with rage. I entered the next available flight to India. I went straight to Baba Raj. Baba, there's a man who keeps fighting back. I want him finished. Baba Raj looked at me with serious eyes. This man is not ordinary. He is protected. If he wants to pay, let him pay. Leave him alone. But I refused. As we say in Nigeria, a stubborn fly follows the corpse into the grave. I returned back to Nigeria. Tina visited me at the shop. I told her everything. Tina warned me to. Don't try that man again, babe. Leave him alone. But I was angry. That same night, I went into my altar. I called his name 3 times. Tochukwu, Tochukwu, Tochukwu. And I sent him a bedridden sickness. What I didn't know was that I had just invited something darker into my life. 3 days after I sent the sickness, I had a dream, a terrifying one. In the dream, I saw an old man dressed in white, standing at the front of my bed. You have touched the anointed, you will pay with your peace. I woke up sweating. Everywhere was cold. My generator stopped working. My gas exploded in the kitchen. The air conditioner caught fire. Tochukwu was rushed to the hospital. After everything I had done, I still wasn't satisfied. Greed had taken over me. When Mr. Tochukwu finally gave up the ghost, I felt no remorse. I was even proud of myself. I laughed and said, he thought he was strong. He dared me, Mama T, and he paid for it. That same week, I marched into his 3-bedroom house. His poor wife, with swollen eyes, begged me, please, Ma, my husband just died. We need this. I raised out my hand. Get out, all of you. I threw them out like dogs. My plan was to sell the house the next week and add the money to my already overflowing bank account. But that was when everything turned dark. The very night I threw them out, I had a dream. I was working in a big supermarket. wearing my usual lace and gold. Then I heard someone call my name 3 times. Tame, Tame, Tame. I turned and saw Mr. Tochukwu. His eyes red, his clothes soaked in blood. He said, "You will never take my house, never. The way you sent me out of this world is the way you will go to." I woke up screaming. I shook it off as just a dream, but the next morning I felt very weak. My eyes were heavy. I thought it was malaria, so I went to a private hospital in Lekki. They ran tests and came back confused. The doctor looked at me and said, "Madam, you are out of blood." I laughed. Which kind yeye joke be this? I am alive, talking, walking, and you say I have no blood? But truly, I was fading. They admitted me immediately and started blood transfusion. By evening, I felt okay. But by morning, the blood had vanished, dry again. For 12 days, every bag of blood entered me and dried up overnight. Doctors were confused. Tests showed no internal bleeding, no condition. They said to me, "Madam, this is beyond science." That's when fear started eating me, like termites in wood. Each night I lay in the hospital bed. I heard voices whispering in my ears, "Tame, Tame, return what is not yours." I looked at my hands and cried. The money I used charms to collect from innocent people, the houses I seized, the children I made homeless. Now I was using all of it to buy blood, blood that disappeared like smoke. I remembered everything. The woman who knelt and begged me not to take her shop. The man who gave me his father's land papers as collateral and died of stroke when I took it. The tears of women and children I ignored. Their cries, their pain were now my own pain. Tina came to visit me in the hospital. She sat beside me and held my hand. She said, "I warned you. Baba Raj told you to let him be." I wept. "Tina, I have lost everything," I said to her. "My body is rejecting blood. I don't even feel human anymore." She stood up and said something that cut through me like a blade. "You were never satisfied. You were drunk on power, but power without mercy is suicide." That night, Tochukwu appeared again, not in blood, but he was dressed in white. He said, "Mama T, God gave you many chances. You refused to listen. This is your reward. Your altar of wickedness will not eat you." I screamed, "Please, give me another chance." He turned and vanished. I woke up coughing blood. On the 14th day, the doctor said they could do nothing again. I could not even walk. My mouth was sealed like I was under a curse. But in my heart, I screamed, "Forgive me. I am Mama T, formerly known as Toy, the wicked moneylender. I am writing this from my hospital bed, in pain, in shame, in regret. If I die today, I will die empty. I have no joy, no peace, no comfort, only bags of money that cannot heal me, and victim whose tears haunt me. Greed is a curse. If you let it rule you, you will destroy yourself. There is power in the cry of the oppressed. When the innocent weep because of you, their tears go straight to heaven. Not all money lenders are genuine. Some carry altars, some carry debt. Power without compassion leads to destruction. When you are warned by people or even dreams, listen. Don't be stubborn. Don't be the stubborn fly that follows the corpse to the grave. Be content. Be kind. Be merciful. You never know who God is using to test your heart.